Let's conduct technical analysis of the German index, and we're on the daily chart, as you guys can see. And just to recap, the last time we spoke about this particular index, we had mentioned that the market had given us this double top over here, which had a neckline at that point, and we can see that price had closed below the neckline and then went up to the neckline again to give it a test. And at this point is where many of us actually looked for sell opportunities, as the anticipation was for price to actually give us this pattern over here, right, where we would see the market actually move further down to around this level to close pretty much in line with where that double top or M structure had started. However, unfortunately, due to the fact that earnings season is here, and also the US indices such as Nasdaq 100, US 30, as well as US 500, which is also known as S&P 500, have been very strong over the last couple of weeks. And so unfortunately, this M structure or double top failed, where we saw the market, as I said, start to move up. Another thing that has helped these indices is the earnings season that we're currently in the US, and that's also another reason why we never really got to see price actually move further down. Because if you think about it, if you were to go to the lower time frames, you would see that at this point over here we actually have a gap over there. If you were to go to, I think, the 15-minute chart or the M5 chart, you would see that gap clearly. And as you guys know, gaps represent liquidity, and as I always say, liquidity is money, and that money needs to be triggered by the market sooner or later. So there is plenty of scope for the market to move to this level. The only issue is that we don't know when exactly this will happen, right? Anyway, let's proceed. What else do we see in regards to the daily chart? As much as the market had given us this failed double top or M structure, again, the market now has given us this huge multi-session double top. Can you guys see that, right? And we can see also that as much as we have this huge one, we have a smaller one within this block over here, right? Which is positive in that we're likely going to see the market actually crash, right? Another thing is that all of these indices, including Nasdaq 100, US 30, as well as S&P 500, are very much overbought, right? They've been strong for too long, and we're now starting to see some sideways movement, which indicates that we are likely going to see the market crash somewhat, and at least to this level. But long term, I believe that we're going to see the market move further down to around this level. And as I said, that is because we have a gap here. Also, if you were to look at the Nasdaq 100 index, as well as US 30, and if memory serves, I believe US 500 as well, they all have gaps somewhere here, right? They all have gaps somewhere here, and that points that we are likely going to see the market move further down. Anyway, what else do we see, guys, here? And let's just zoom in and see. As I said, the market at this point in time has been moving rather sideways, especially on the H4 chart, if you were to go down there, right? And this is as a result of earnings season. And I know that some of you are thinking that Germany, or rather Ger40, is not associated with the American indices, but the reality is that at the end of the day, all of these indices are connected, and generally speaking, what happens to Nasdaq 100 has an effect on all the indices, including Ger40, which is the Hong Kong index as well, right? Anyway, just to proceed, remember, guys, I said that at this point in time we have what seems to be this pattern over here, which has a neckline over here, right? So myself personally, I want to see price actually closing below this neckline, which is now at this point in time a very strong level of support, as well as close below this trend line. Once that happens, again, I want to see it head back to the area to give it a test, and at that point is where I would look for potential sell opportunities. And if I do indeed find any good sell opportunities at this point, my first take profit should be around this level over here, which is a very strong level of support, as we had multiple rejections in and around that area, right? So that's what I see at this point in time. However, as I said, the key thing here is to wait for price to close below this very strong level of support, and wait for it to turn into resistance, as well as close below this area over here. Then again, wait for it to head to that level, and at this level, if it aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool, I would have confidence in as far as looking for potential sell opportunities goes. And what I would then do again to add more confidence is to look for reversal candlestick patterns at this point, and that would be your railroad tracks, right, or a pin bar of sorts, right, or even a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, right? So these are the three patterns that I would mostly look out for, and if I do find any at this point, that's when I would execute and sell, right? Anyway, from here, what I'm gonna do, guys, is head down to the H4 chart, and let's see what's happening on the H4 chart. Let's have a look. And on the H4 chart, we can see, guys, as I said, the market has been moving rather sideways, and this has been as a result of the earnings season in America that we're currently in. And the nice thing about earnings season is that some of the biggest companies have already released their results, and that's a positive, right? I mean, if you look at Google, Microsoft, Alphabet, and so forth, they've all released the results. So I expect over the next couple of weeks the movements to be a bit better. Nonetheless, having said that, just to recap, remember, guys, we spoke about this area over here and how the market had given us this double top or M structure, but we can also see that on the H4 chart, this pattern has expressed itself as a triple top. It's still the same formation, really, because if you were to scratch out this leg of the triple top, you still have a double top over here, which means the same principles apply, where we just have to wait for, in my very humble opinion, price to close below this neckline as well as below this trend line, and then again for it to head back to the area. And at this point is where we would utilize Fibonacci and look for key levels on the tool, in addition to also looking for potential reversal candlesticks, such as the, as I said, railroad tracks, right, or bearish engulfing, as well as a pin bar like we have here, right? So if I find any of those patterns, I will look for sell opportunities here, as I said, and my take profit would be around here somewhere. But if I can just zoom out, right, remember, guys, I said we have a gap here actually, and as much as I'm saying that my first take profit would be here, I actually want to see the market move further down to around this level to fill that gap, right? Another thing that I also want to bring to attention in regards to earnings season is that, in my very, very humble opinion, I would say that the best way to go about trading earnings season is to actually scalp, right? It's best to scalp because this happens every year, right? If you go to the last earnings season, you would see that we have a block, right, and it usually lasts for like 2 months, and then we start to see some proper price action movements again, right? So what I do on my side is I always enter on the 5-minute chart, and I always target about 100 to 200 pips, and then I close, and then I also don't hold trades overnight, right? So that's what I do to work around the fact that at this point in time we're in earnings season, right? But as I said, guys, and as far as this chart goes, really, we should just be looking for, in my very humble opinion, sell opportunities. And to add to that, on the H4 chart, as things stand, I don't see any actual opportunities. But myself personally, as I said, I'm just going to wait for the market to actually close below this level over here, if I can just draw it, as well as this trend line. And I would look for sell opportunities here. And my first take profit would be this area over here.